Hey, mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40 and we are back with another video on the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, I have for you guys part 3 of my video series, the X Factor or the EX Factor, where we discuss the particular EX weapons for certain characters and we decide whether or not these characters can still function well with or without them. So for this one, I kind of went all out and went with 5 characters versus my last 2 videos where I went with 2 and then I went with 3. And I also based this on who we already have awakened and kind of what Global has been doing, because they've been throwing a lot of curveballs at us and it's been making things really interesting. So these EX weapons that I'm covering are kind of predictions on what I feel like we might be seeing soon as far as EX weapons. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the 5 EX weapons we're going to be covering for this part 3. The first things to remember though is that when you are watching this, for those of you who are brand new, is that EX weapons do grant a character 70 CP with a maximum of 80 CP when fully leveled and limit broken. So it does give them that. So even if a character can still function without it, if you happen to pull it for that character, well, that's what you get out of it. So it still makes them better. And then EX abilities have a recast speed ranging from slow to fast. And again, the video series is intended to not only show off the amazing weapons, but help newer players and free-to-play players understand if the said character can still be useful even without the EX, because we know that these weapons out of all the 5 stars have the lowest percentage chance of appearing. So the first one we're going to go over is Warrior of Light with his EX weapon called the Ice Brand. This grants him the ability Shining Wave. Shining Wave is going to be a 2-hit range Brave plus HP attack with a base Brave damage of 360%. However, that Brave damage increases by 10% for every 1,750 shield value present on all party members. So for every time there is a value of 1750, it increases that Brave damage by 360%. So you want to keep that in mind, that it takes into account all the shields that are present that's granted by wall. And then it also heals the party by 80% of the HP damage that it deals, up to 10% of their max HP. Any excess HP healed is transferred to their Brave. It also grants wall a medium speed up for 5 turns, and this ability has a base slow recast speed. At 1 limit break, it raises the Brave damage dealt by Shining Wave. At 2, it raises Shining Wave's HP recovery limit now to 20% of max HP, and at 3 it raises the recast speed of Shining Wave. So the verdict on this is Warrior of Light's EX further adds utility to his kit, now giving him an option to heal the party and another ability to deal damage to target. So if you happen to pull this, great, it gives him more utility, gives him more versatility. However, even if you happen to not pull this weapon or you decide to pass on it, Warrior of Light is still a very good character to use even without it. Right now, at the current level 60 era, he's a very useful tank, probably the best tank. It's arguable if Snow is better than him, but I feel like Warrior Light is still a little bit better. So if you decide to pull for this, great. If not, Warrior of Light is still good without it, definitely. Now the next one we're going to talk about is Onion Knight's EX weapon called Serpent Sword. So the Serpent Sword is going to give him the EX ability Blade Torrent. So Blade Torrent is a 6-hit melee Brave plus HP attack that is executed twice with a low action delay. So he does that twice with a total Brave damage of 360%. So each of those 6 hits of Brave plus HP is essentially at 180%. So he does that twice. It grants him 3 stacks of Ninja, and it changes to Meteorite if he already had the Sage buff active. And Meteorite is going to be a 6-hit non-elemental magic Brave plus HP attack with a low action delay. It's not executed twice, but it does have the same Brave damage that Blade Torrent has at 360%. This time when you use Meteorite, it grants him 3 stacks of Sage, and it changes to Blade Torrent if there are no Sage stacks. And this EX ability has a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, it raises the Brave damage dealt by both Blade Torrent and Meteorite. At 2, lowers action delay of Blade Torrent and Meteorite. And at 3, raises the recast speed of Blade Torrent and Meteorite. So what is my verdict on the Serpent Sword? Because Onion Knight's maximum potential requires 3 stacks of either Sage or Ninja, I feel like having this EX is a necessity, as it also gives him more damage options. And furthermore, his EX has a faster recast speed compared to other EXs. So Onion Knight works off of a stack. So essentially it's kind of like Noctis. Noctis needs that the Armiger buff to be able to really perform to his maximum potential. Same thing with Onion Knight. He works off of stacks, so having Sage or Ninja either at 3 really ramps his damage up, and this is why I feel like the Serpent Sword is necessary to really make him useful. The next EX weapon we're going to talk about is going to be Bartz's Great Sword. So his EX ability he gets from this weapon is called Iainuki. This is going to be a one-hit melee Brave plus HP attack with 240% Brave damage. After he uses this, Bartz grants himself 20% attack up, 30% max Brave up, and small speed up for 5 turns, and this EX ability has a fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, it's going to raise the Brave damage dealt by the EX ability. At 2, it raises all party members' Brave based on max Brave, so it has a Brave battery mechanic at 2, and then at 3, it raises the recast speed of Iainuki. So my verdict on that is damage-wise, Bartz's EX, it may not look impressive. I mean, it's just a one-hit Brave plus HP attack, but this EX ability and this weapon more than makes up for it with the buffs that he receives, as well as it being one of the fastest recast speeds in all of the EX abilities. So its base recast speed's at fast. So when you fully max limit break it, it's gonna be even faster. So it charges really, really fast. And having this EX weapon on Bartz turns him into a high frequency damage dealer with it. And it's recommended to definitely have this on him or to try to pull this for him if you decide to use Bartz opted in your party, because it just makes him that much better. And he can actually deal a lot of damage with it because he can constantly use it. It doesn't take that long to charge. Next EX weapon is one that a lot of folks have been kind of anticipating, which is going to be Vaan's EX, Demonsbane. So Demonsbane is going to give him the EX ability Pyroclasm. So Pyroclasm is a 4-hit fire magic Brave plus HP attack with a 320% Brave damage. Brave stolen with this ability can now overflow up to 120% of Vaan's max Brave. It also deals 20% HP splash damage to other targets, and it changes to Pyroclasm Plus for 1 turn after you use Red Spiral or White Whirl, and Pyroclasm plus its Brave damage is at 480%, with its EX ability being at a normal recast speed. At 1 limit break, it's going to raise the Brave damage dealt by Pyroclasm. At 2, it raises that HP splash damage dealt by Pyroclasm and Pyroclasm Plus, and at 3, it raises the recast speed of Pyroclasm. So verdict on this weapon. So Vaan's weapon is one of the first to introduce us to Brave Overflow, which allows characters to essentially deal more HP damage than what their usual max Brave is at, because it exceeds that. And his EX is great in giving him another offensive option, as one of Vaan's main issues is running out of steam, because even with his level 60 Awakening, he only has 5 ability usage for his ability. So he has that issue of running out of steam, so having this on him gives him more options. However, I will say that if you happen to not pull his EX weapon, he can still be pretty useful, and he's proven that currently right now with the content that we have, he is one of the better damage dealing units in global right now. Now the last EX weapon is going to be interesting and might surprise you all, but I have an inkling that Tidus might be getting his Force Saber. And hear me out on this. The reason why I feel like Tidus or Tidus, yes, I agree with you, Josh. It should be pronounced Tidus. It sounds better that way. But yeah, Tidus's EX weapon I feel like might appear sooner than we think. Is first of all, one of the things that I realize is that they like to change things up in global. And 2, remember when we first got 35 CP weapons, everybody thought that we were gonna see 35 CP weapons when the Ramza event came out. But we were completely wrong. They completely surprised us, and they were like, here, just have Tidus's 35 CP. So that's another reason why I feel like this might show up sooner, because Tidus was recently awakened. So his EX ability he gets from Force Saber is called Energy Rain. Energy Rain is a 6-hit ranged AoE Brave plus HP attack with a 390% Brave damage. The Brave hits are dispersed if there are multiple targets, and the HP damage dealt to all targets is 100%. And it's also going to give him a 40% attack up and small speed up for 5 turns, and this EX ability has a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, raises the Brave damage dealt by Energy Rain. At 2, raises the recast speed of Energy Rain, and at 3, it's going to raise Tidus's max Brave by 40% while he's buffed, and it changes his HP attack command to HP attack plus. HP attack plus is going to be a 2-hit melee Brave plus HP attack with low action delay. So what is my verdict on the Force Saber? Being the fast frequency damage dealer and debuffer that he is, Tidus's EX further increases his offensive abilities. This time, he now has an AoE option, and his AoE HP damage is 100% to all targets. So it's not going to be splash damage, it's not going to be divided damage, it's just straight up 100%, which is pretty crazy. And to top it off, he receives amazing buffs from it and has a slightly fast recast speed. So this is going to be an EX ability that you'll probably be using multiple times, especially during a harder, longer stage, if you're using Tidus and if you have this on him. So definitely this is a great EX weapon to invest in if you use Tidus a lot. All right, guys, well, that is going to be part 3. I had a lot of fun making this. And again, thank you guys for, all of your suggestions and ways that I could improve the series. And I do appreciate to hear that this series helps you guys out, especially for those of you that don't spend a lot on gems, because I know that, not everyone's going to have every single EX weapon unless you go crazy on gems. Even me, myself, now going more free to play, I already know, I'm trying to plan ahead of time. Okay, which ones do I want? Which ones do I not really care for? Which ones are my favorites? Because the most important thing with Dissidia Omnia is because there's so many characters, it's best to also pull for your favorites, because that's the best way to enjoy the game, playing with your favorite characters. All right, guys, well, I cannot wait for the next batch of awakenings and the next piece of content we're going to be seeing for Global. Thank you again for always watching my videos and giving me suggestions. This is 40 the Broadway Saiyan signing out. Take care, and mahal, everyone.